Hello, everyone. Thank you all coming to the Bubble Wrap Speaker Series, which happens first Monday of every month during the winter. We think we're going to add another one. Stay tuned for June. So we're very excited with the turnout and people coming. Tonight we have our co-green friends of Recology. I say this every time that I bring their name up. McMinnville is extremely lucky, well, Yamhill County really, this section of the county, to have this as our hauler. Yes. They are truly engaged with recycling rather than with landfilling, which gives them incentive to do all the wonderful things that we're all hoping to do in our achievements with zero waste. And so we love collaborating with them and are just really, really excited that they are our provider. So as introduction, these two gentlemen are going to discuss in layman terms, perhaps, the very complicated story of Oregon's new recycling programs, which are revolutionary in the country. Oregon is way ahead of the game. It's been very complicated with all sorts of ups and downs and lawsuits and craziness, but these gentlemen are the ones who are in charge of facilitating what is going to be a really wonderful new engagement with recycling in the state. So Dan Blue has a vast history, worked for Metro, just about every garbage company in the world.
He's aging me right now.
Yeah. He had a bar, he has fascinating relatives, he's a magnificent individual who is overseeing much of what happens here in McMinnville. And then of course we have Kade Klienstuber, who is the Waste Zero specialist specifically for this area. Brought in recently by Recology to do wonderful things and be our community liaison. We're a little frightened though because Kade is also an amazing musician and we're worried that we're going to lose him to American Idol soon. But that remains to be seen. Gentlemen, begin.
Thanks, Ramsey. Hi, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm a little hard of hearing. That's why I have this thing in here because I don't have actual proper hearing aids yet, but I'm working on it. So if I look like I'm just zoning out when you say something to me, it's because I didn't hear you, so speak up, okay? Say after me, single-use plastics are bad.
Single-use plastics are bad.
Thank you. We're going to talk about, as Ramsey said, the Recycling Modernization Act. It's actually called the Plastics Pollution Prevention and Recycling Modernization Act. We just call it RMA for short. I've said it a million times in the last couple of years, and RMA is the fast way to do it. Will you get the next slide, please? I'm sorry, Dan Blue, Government Relations, Community Relations Manager for Recology, Northern Oregon. I also support our sites in Southern Oregon as well. And you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, Ramsey did, but Kade, I'm the Waste Zero Specialist for Western Oregon. Not as far as I understand with the whole Oregon, but yeah, just Yamhill County and Polk County.
So when we're asked to speak, we always say a little bit about Recology. I apologize if this is a regurgitation. How many people were at the last RMA session that we did in this room? Oh, fantastic. Okay, thank you. That's great. Good. I'm really happy about that because a lot of the same slides are up here from whatever, like a year ago. A little bit about Recology. We are a West Coast only based materials management company. We are not a landfill focused company, as Ramsey said. We prefer to focus our attention on safe, efficient materials management curbside. But we also are a composting facility, or a composting operation. We are Oregon's largest composter. We have a composting facility here in McMinnville, one in Almsville, and one in North Plains. We operate 26 collection companies up and down the West Coast. We got started down here in the Bay Area and moved into Oregon, I think it was like 13 or more years. I actually don't know the history. I've only been with the company for 3 years, but let's see. An important part about Recology is we are 100% employee owned, and so no one person can own more than 1% of our company. And so when we make our salary, that money stays locally. The proceeds from the company don't go off to Houston or Dubai or other places. They stay local in this community. We have many drivers who've been in the company for 40 years. They retire here often. They go shopping, support local businesses. We really like that model. So a little bit about us. Next slide, please. So tonight's topic is Recycling Modernization Act. How do we get here? 2018, I don't know if any of you remember recycling or National Sword. It was an effort on the part of China to reduce the amount of garbage that they were receiving in mixed recycling loads, mostly coming from Western countries like us. And so this started the whole process. Oregon decided to take a hard look at our now 35, 40-year-old recycling system. It's sometimes good to be the first, and then it's also has a lot of drawbacks being the first. And so you see more recent recycling programs come into place that have modern trucks, modern sorting equipment. Because we were an early adopter of recycling, we're, kind of like me, we're aging. And now is a good time to take a good look at how our recycling system is doing. It is not accomplishing the diversion goals that the state wants to see, that we would like to see in this community. We aren't. It's really tough to fight consumerism and constantly throwing, you need this and this and this. We were talking about Costco, you have to have everything. We really don't, but that consumerism is causing us to not hit the recovery goals where we should be. And so the Recycling Modernization Act is meant to provide an update to our Oregon's Opportunity to Recycle Act, which created curbside recycling in larger communities. But again, it's a refresh. So, back one, please. Plastics Pollution and Recycling Modernization Act updates Oregon's recycling system by building on local community programs and leveraging resources from producers, creating a system where everyone in Oregon has the same opportunities to recycle, requires producers, this is the big change, requires producers of packaging, printing, and writing paper and food serviceware to share responsibility for the effective, responsible handling of their products after use. That means they're gonna pay, and they have been paying a lot since this program was implemented, and I'll go into that in a minute. So it's an extended producer, next slide please. It's an extended producer responsibility law, and it extends the producer's financial and managerial responsibility for its products and packaging beyond the manufacturing stage. So before, they just sold us all their stuff and all their packaging, and they, fancy packaging is sexier on the grocery store shelf, so they put a lot of money into that. This kind of shifts the model a little bit and says to them, hey, you're gonna pay for us to recycle your materials. Also, we want you to think about the design of how, design for more recyclability, for less waste, et cetera. And so all of that's kind of wrapped into this act. So product design is part of that. The producer of the packaging materials, we, the consumer, are part of this. And then, of course, at the end of the line, reuse or recycling, waste prevention, and safe disposal if you have to. Okay, so Oregon, remember I said sometimes it's good to be the first, sometimes it comes with drawbacks. We were the first to actually implement a EPR packaging law, and it went into effect, so implementation started July 1 of 2025. So we're now 7 months and 2 days into RMA, and I gotta tell you, it has been wonderful and horrible at the same time, being one of the people who's responsible for connecting all the dots for a company like Recology. Let's see, Colorado coming online soon, California in the process, Minnesota, etc. So these states will be all implementing packaging EPR laws. Wait, let's go down here. Sorry, July 2025. They aren't live yet, I don't think. Are they? I don't think they are yet. April, January 2027. So we were the first. Next slide, please. So the RMA envisions a full shared responsibility system. I already talked a little bit about this, but you've got the producers. You've got a third-party a producer responsibility organization. I'll talk about them in a minute. This is where Recology lives, WM, Rogue Disposal, you know, all the hundreds of different haulers in Oregon or in this place. Local governments, obvious, every local government has a responsibility to implement the RMA, and they do so in different ways depending on how many residents they have. So cities of 4,000 or more have more obligations, cities of 4,000 or less have less obligations, but everybody has obligations in this shared responsibility system. Recycling facilities, many of you might know them as material recovery facilities. Because bureaucrats are in charge, they're now called commingled recycling processing facilities. They're no longer MRFs, set that aside. CRPFs, okay, that rolls off the tongue. And then, this is a really critical part of the RMA, responsible end markets. What does that mean? That's a question.
Ship it all to China.
No, that's how we got here in the first place. No. There is a process for certifying where the material that Recology collects, bundles it up in a truck, sends it to a CRPF in the Portland area. Where that material then goes is called a responsible end market. It is a certification process to ensure that we're not shipping a bunch of garbage to Vietnam or India or Taiwan or wherever. Okay, so that's what the responsible end market is. This is the whole shared responsibility system. Next slide, please. So, I mentioned in the last slide a third-party producer responsibility organization. The one that Oregon selected, which is also all those other states now, is called Circular Action Alliance. It bridges Oregon Department of Environmental Quality and service providers and local governments. They act as the hub for collecting all the money from the producers, these fine companies you recognize here. And I will tell you, they are now working with 33,000 producers are registering through Circular Action Alliance. What that means is, once they're registered, CAA can start collecting money from them for the states that they are operating in. So, do you think CAA wants to be the pro for this country? Or do you think they want a whole bunch of different ones? I think they want to be the pro, right?
Yeah.
A lot of big companies, multinational, trillion-dollar companies in here, they don't want to deal with a whole bunch of different fragmented pro EPR systems across the country. They want one organization to represent their interests, but also meet the obligations of state law. Okay, so CAA is who we're working with. They're good people. I know most of them, well, many of them I know pretty well. But let's not forget that they're funded by this, right? So, so far things are going pretty good. Next slide, please.
Okay,
Kate's going to talk about some of the key components of the Recycling Modernization Act.
So I'm going to dive in a little bit about the expanding recycling services. It goes for infrastructure and transportation.
Could you speak up, please?
Yes. So one thing for infrastructure improvements and services, our sister company at the coast, Recology Western Oregon North, they put an order for 4,000 commingled recycling carts for rural areas, so and underdeveloped communities. That is funded through Circular Action Alliance, the RMA, as well as they're getting a truck funded fully to process the additional material. So that's a cool thing. Although Recology Western Oregon in the Valley, we have a very robust recycling service system for rural areas. It's not as much impacting it where we'll get additional carts for the rural areas because we already have that infrastructure. But things such as the material recovery facilities, which are called something else.
CRPFs.
Exactly. Those facilities, they get funding through the RMA to provide more robust systems, and their outdated systems they can update through AI or robotics and such. So that's one way that it subsidizes it. Same with transportation costs is subsidized for like the rural areas like the coast. That's another thing to know. So statewide collection list, this one is really exciting because whether you're at the coast or you're in Bend or Portland or here, everything is universal, so it limits the confusion. it makes it more mainstream, so people traveling on vacation, if they come here, they know it's the same thing they can recycle in their curbside cart. This makes education and outreach a lot more simple for teachers, schools, offices, wherever it might be, just because things aren't being changed depending on what city you live in.
And is that depending on the different companies picking them up as well?
Yeah, so wherever you are in Oregon, it's the same material acceptance list. I also, at the end of this presentation, there's some flyers. This one's really in detail with what you can recycle. And these two are provided by, it's called Recycle On. It's through CAA and RMA, and it's where we get our materials for outreach and education. I'll dig into that a little bit more.
Kate, can I interrupt? It's called the USCL, Uniform Statewide Collection List. So everywhere you go, doesn't matter who collects it, same materials. Except for some areas in the metropolitan area where there's additional materials at the curb. So just because they, started a long time ago. Yes, sir. In the
What's
back.
happening with glass?
Yeah, great. Do we do it? So we're still collecting glass the way we always have, either in depots or at the curb. What the law says is that CAA, as the pro, has to manage glass now because it is a packaging material. Rather than reinvent a secondary collection system at the curb or do other things, they've made an arrangement with the hauling community, and it's approved by the state, where we get reimbursed for glass now. So $77 a ton of glass that we collect, we will get paid by CAA for managing that material on their behalf, because again, the law says they are supposed to do that, not necessarily us anymore. But the programs that already have curbside glass, they're not taking it away because it's what people know and it's efficient.
Is that statewide then?
Yes.
Because I'm in Polk County, and as far as I know, Republic does not accept glass unless we take it to a collection spot.
Yeah, depots are allowed under this for some rural areas. Cities of 4,000 or more, I think you have to have glass collection, but only if there was an existing curbside glass program before. So Polk County chose to not really participate in the RMA. They're still obligated under the RMA, but they chose not to deal with this at this point in time.
What can I do to push that forward? So I think that's important.
I'll give you the standard answer, which is talk to your elected official.
So is that the commissioners or who?
Commissioners, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So wait, so Polk County's not doing this?
No, I mean,
They-
they will take it, if you take it to the collection spot, but you
Yeah.
can't put it in
But
curbside.
We don't have curbside glass even in Yamhill County everywhere. We have it in some jurisdictions and not in others. Some places have glass depots where you can take it to a centralized spot. That's fine. Other cities have chosen to allow us to collect glass curbside, or we have some subscription too,
Yeah, we have some subscription services.
which we don't love, but
Yeah.
yeah. So a depot counts, and I'll talk a little bit more about those in a minute, or curbside counts.
But I think there needs to be a push to recycle that also. And if your community doesn't do curbside, then, there's a lot of glass that just goes in trash.
Absolutely. That's where you should talk to your elected official.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Great question.
Yes.
And Polk County, we're in Polk County as a franchisee. We have a good relationship with the county. I'm not throwing them under the bus here. I'm just stating a fact that they did not do all the paperwork to do
Do
what
everything
needed.
that they should.
What you needed to do to get to this stage was a whole bunch of work over the last 2 years, and that's all I'm saying. Are you recording?
I probably jumping ahead here, but are you gonna tell us what you do with the glass?
Yes.
Okay, great, or.
It
the
goes to a
glass-
place called Glass to Glass, which sorts it into different colors and sends it to different markets. Sometimes it goes back into glass bottles or other products. Sometimes it goes to roadbed, which is not great. Sometimes it goes to alternative daily cover, A, B, C in landfills, which is not great, but that is the system. There's not a great market for glass. Reuse your glass as much as possible. I like to drink wine, and there's a great company trying to reuse wine bottles called Ravino.
Yeah.
Partners here in McMinnville area with
Yeah.
Zero Waste McMinnville. Yeah, glass is heavy, it's expensive to ship, lots of greenhouse gas emissions in the shipping of glass. Getting it back to manufacturer, there's not great market. So we're doing what we can with it, but again, we're the material manager in the middle there.
One thing to add to this as well, since everything is universal statewide, it also limits the contamination rates since things aren't constantly changing. So then next we're going to dive into recycling improvements for multi-tenant properties. So this would be apartments or dwellings with 5 or more people living in them. So apartments are fairly notorious for having high contamination rates just because of the constant new tenants or new management. Dealing with some managers for properties, I can understand that it's been very difficult for them because they have to manage so many people with recycling. One of the things with RMA, it helps us with education and outreach. One thing with that being said, with some of the flyers that I have out here today, there's a new website that for education and outreach, and for like myself being a waste zero specialist, we have access to this portal where we can get door hangers, big posters for signage, and a big list of other things that goes on. They're adding different materials to it, but there's just a lot of different outreach and education materials that we have in our hands that we can help with these property managers to tackle the contamination, doing clear signage, more decals in the carts, and just being able to give them more resources. That's one big improvement. We're also working on a pilot, Recology is working on a pilot program right now with particularly the apartments that have been problematic lately. And that's something that we're excited for, hoping that it is a good turnout with reducing contamination. And then material processing facilities. This one kind of ties into
CRPF.
Yes, what Dan says. They're being put to higher standards, and with that, there's better working conditions, the contamination rates go down, they're getting funded to improve their recycling systems, so as I said, AI, robotics, and it's just more making the systems be more robust and, yeah, more robust in general. I don't know if Dan, you want to ask?
Modern.
Yeah. And then education and contamination reduction. Part of my role is contamination reduction. With that being said, I kind of mentioned on it, but we have this new portal with lots of new education and outreach material. There's also some things that Dan will highlight, such as a contamination reduction fee of $3 per capita that he'll talk about, I'm sure. Same thing with glass subsidized, which he did talk about as well. But there's these systems being put in place that are helping with reducing contamination.
Okay, cool, thank you. I didn't really talk about the different funding sources, and I failed to put a slide in here, but Kate mentioned it. There was system expansion money, which is what we're doing over in Clatsop County, those 4,000 new carts and a truck, 100% paid for by the producers. There's also capital investment in the material recovery, now called CRPFs, the commingled recycling processing facilities. Lots of money has already flowed there. They were the first ones to start getting, the spigots turned on for money. There's also funding for glass, which we talked about. They're paying us to manage glass for them. There's also transportation reimbursement. So if you're over 50 miles away from a CRPF, which are Astoria transfer station, where we bundle all of our recyclables together, put them in a truck and send them to the Portland market, we get compensated for some portion of that travel. There is also, Kate mentioned it, contamination reduction funding, $3 per capita. So McMinnville's 40, what is the population here? 45. 35.
35 to 40.
35. So, you know, that's a pretty good chunk of money. And city has not decided exactly how they're gonna allocate those resources, possibly some to Zero Waste McMinnville, which we support, possibly some to us, which we also support. Those funds can be used for all the education and outreach work that Kade does, that his counterpart at our coast does, also covers their wages, which is fantastic. That's a good thing because do all of you have garbage service? Lots of nodding heads. This is gonna help you with your rates in the long run because some of the costs that we incur, that we put on your plate and your bill, and I know you don't have a choice who your garbage hauler is, some of those costs are going away. That doesn't mean that we're not ever gonna raise your rates. I wanna say that again.
Yeah, that's what, yeah.
It has happened. It does not, I'm gonna say it again, it does not mean that because we're getting all this money for the recycling component, that it's gonna lower your rates. It's gonna take pressure off of rate adjustments. And I used to be a solid waste manager for the city of Gresham, and I had the unenviable experience of 1 year realizing that recycling markets had tanked, and I went in for a 10.1 or 10.2 rate increase. And it was my first year on the job. And I got it because they felt sorry for the new guy. And next year, recycling markets exploded. They went up. And we suddenly, some of our haulers were way overperforming on their target allowable margin, their profit, which also includes taxes and other things. It's not all profit. Anyway, I then had to go back to that council and say, I'm sorry, you know, we raised rates last year, but we're gonna lower them this year, or we could do some other things with this money, which we did. And we actually bought roll carts for the yard debris program instead of having the haulers pick up those metal cans and dump them. So we reinvested in the system. So that's a little story. Yes?
So did you say that the city gets the money from this and then they distribute it?
So the way the law works, everything goes through the jurisdiction and then it funnels out to their service providers. In the Portland area, because they have staff, like 8 to 15 people working in recycling and garbage, they're taking the money themselves and doing some programming. Most of the areas of the state, the service provider is the recycling, you know, professional and runs all the programs, and we have good relationship with the city, but they don't have staff to manage recycling and garbage and solid waste. We do that on their behalf. That's what I do. So for us, we work with the cities, and I have 23 jurisdictions that I work with, and most of them have said, it doesn't make any sense for us to take this money in because then we have to do the reporting and we have to spend money on our staff to manage it. So they defer the money to their service provider. That's happening most places in the state, except for like Eugene, Salem, Portland metro area where you have those large populations and solid waste staff. Did that answer that question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We can go to the next slide.
I do want to note 2 things really quick.
Oh, sorry.
One thing with the education piece is the portal also gives multilingual decals and such, so that's helpful for a list of reasons. So if you're here vacation, traveling, you can do a QR code and it shows you in different languages the recycling guide. And another thing is, I think Dan will touch on it in a little bit, but is AI. That's been a growing talk on how that can help with contamination reduction.
Yeah. Oh, and the funding sources. Okay, so contamination reduction, transportation, glass reimbursement, system expansion, capital investment in the CRPFs. There's also, there's something else, there's one other one. It'll come to me. That's why I should have a slide, so I'm not just doing it off the top of my head. Okay, so Kate already talked about the USCL, the Uniform Statewide Collection List. Not much changed here in McMinnville, Yamhill County, except that aluminum foil, the research shows that it just burns up, and so they've taken aluminum foil off of this list. I knew that was going to cause consternation in this room. It burns up.
What is that?
So if it feels good to put it in the roll cart, go ahead and keep putting it in the roll cart, but it's not contributing anything. So, I mean, do what you want, but it's off the list. I'm not gonna tell you not to put it in the cart.
Burns up.
It burns up when you melt the metals. it disappears, it evaporates, it's gone.
Does that include like, if you were to buy one of those like frozen lasagnas that has like the,
Yes.
Yeah, like the pie pans,
yeah, is that
I'm
similar?
sorry, it's true though. It's, you know, it burns up. That's what DEQ has spent a bunch of years researching every single material on this. And they looked at the material in terms of markets, recyclability, greenhouse gas emissions, environmental benefit of the practice of putting it into your cart. We experience so much wishful recycling, I can't even tell you. It's insane. So this is a reasoned, modern approach to picking what should go in the cart, not just because it's generated or manufactured, we should put it in the recycling cart. That's not how it works. Like, that's just not the case. Yes, a couple of hands.
So the annual letter and calendar thing has yet to come out. I guess we got a phone call at our house today saying it was coming.
Yes. No, I think you got a phone call today telling you your yard debris claim is
Oh,
coming.
maybe that was it, okay.
Yeah, I apologize for the calendar delay with RMA. We had to rework some of our collection systems and make sure that we have the right materials. And it's been an interesting process. So we do have a delay this year. We are taking the calendars out of the service guides, and that is going to simplify things for us, and it puts the calendar on our website. The calendars have been on the website since January 1 or December 31st.
Okay.
So we are moving away from having the calendars printed, kind of wasteful. And if there's an error, which we had over the last 2 years, we had to reprint a whole bunch. So we're trying to save y'all money, also move you to looking at our website, which is getting better and better as we work on it. Great question, thank you. There was another, sir, the gentleman in the back, and then we'll.
I have a question about packaging that has plastic coating. It might be a number 1, but it's listed as not recyclable. But if you remove the plastic coating, I think it does become recyclable.
The paper?
Are the manufacturers have any responsibility to address that?
There's, in the RMA, there's incentives for manufacturers to improve the recyclability. The way this thing works is, depending on how much product you sell into Oregon, you are charged a fee, which you then give to CAA, who then distributes it out to the state. If you design your packaging to be more sustainable, recyclable, etc., your fees go down. Now, we're not there yet. This is, again, we're 7 months in here, but there is that component. And so that's a great question.
Until that happens, am I doing okay by removing that plastic coating and then putting it in the recycling?
Don't put the plastic coating in the recycling.
No,
That's,
but I mean,
He's removing
but
the
if I
plastic
remove that, put that plastic in the trash.
yes,
And then put the container.
assuming it's
without
like
the
paper.
plastic in recycling cart,
Yes.
that's okay.
Yeah, if what is left over is recyclable, yes,
Yes,
on the list. Yeah,
because I think the manufacturer should be doing something about that.
we do too.
Then,
That's one of the nice things about this law. I went to high school with a guy who largely is responsible for writing it, and he's way smarter than the other 6 people from my graduating class that work in recycling. And he thought a lot about this. So I think it's a pretty good law. It's hard to implement, but we're getting there. There was one more question up front somewhere.
I don't see plastic tubs or bottles.
Well, let's go to the next
Yeah.
slide.
It continues.
There's a lot of stuff, so it takes more than one
Yeah,
slide.
and there's also these, when you guys wanna pick some up after.
I want to point out 2 inches by 2 inches. If it's smaller than 2 inches by 2 inches, it gums up the recycling plant.
Like bottle caps.
Bottle caps gum up. So they're these giant screens with holes, and all those little pill bottles and bottle caps get stuck in those holes.
So those are a no then, cause I thought they were an okay.
No, it has to be 2 inches by 2 inches or greater.
That's curbside.
all the way up to
Still takes
totes,
the
like
jingle.
tub,
Yeah.
5-gallon buckets. If you wanna take it to McMinnville transfer station, right, we accept the rigid lids, not the flat lids.
Yeah, we
The
take
rigid
screw-on
lids.
caps.
Yeah.
We take screw-on
What if you
caps.
have a rigid lid on top of a bottle?
On like the redeemables, those can stay on. Redeemable bottle caps, those can stay on.
Yeah, like
Those are
rigid.
accepted.
Okay.
This is new. Congratulations, you can recycle your nursery pots now in McMinnville. Compensating for whatever, oh, and the aluminum foil, right.
Number 2 and number 5 only.
Any plastic bottle with a neck smaller than the base, go ahead and throw it in your recycling cart. Okay, don't,
Lid on.
But it
I don't
does
care.
say,
I don't care about the
it
number.
counts okay on that one.
Yes,
which is
Yeah.
not reading.
on the bottles, on the bottles. As long as they're tightly on the bottles, you can put them.
And you're right, not just deposit, but anything, you can leave it. That's what it says, and this is from the state, so I believe it. Yeah, also totes didn't used to be on the list, now they are. 5-gallon buckets used to be, but now you can do totes. Way in the back.
I called Recology a couple weeks ago about the garden bins. I was told it had to be a rigid edge and not like a soft crinkly one. Is that true?
Probably.
As long as they're 2 and 5s and they're in the nursery pot container types, they're acceptable.
I trained that group of people. I didn't say anything about rigid edge to this, so I would just spitball it and say, oh, it looks like a nursery pot
The
to me.
crinkly ones tend to be number 6.
Yeah.
The really small.
Oh, it does say number 2 and number 5 only.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's not just crinkly.
Yes.
Yeah. Can I go back to the aluminum foil?
Mm.
We're at a retirement community in Newburgh. And we have to share all the recycling information with our retired community. So at one time, that new waste management recycling facility up in North Portland told us no aluminum foil. Subsequently, on one of their virtual tours, one of our group was told, yes, you can put aluminum foil in. And then last week, we went out to the waste management transfer station in Newburgh, and the manager there told us you could put in aluminum foil as long as it's crumpled and clean, and you could do the same with pipe bins.
Yeah.
So
Well,
is this the final word that you're giving us? I'm
No.
just, it's not.
no, you just like completely fed me that line, so thank you. This is not permanent. There's a whole committee, an advisory committee, rulemaking committees that are looking at the materials list all the time. If a new market emerges for aluminum foil, they're gonna put it on there. So sorry, it is confusing. This is the list that is currently approved, uniformly, statewide, across Oregon.
So it doesn't evaporate if you crumple it?
First of all, your problem is you have the wrong hauler. I'm just gonna say. But you don't have any choice because you're in a franchise system, sorry. Is there another one? I think that's it, right? Those are the new ones, this one. Tissue paper is no, go up one more, sorry, I should look at that.
It was on that one, the tissue paper's right there.
There it is on the
right.
Yeah,
Right there.
used as packaging, not, so we don't
Not clean.
cook paper like we cook aluminum foil, so that's why tissue paper's okay and aluminum foil's not, okay? This is new, non-metallicized gift wrap and no ribbons or bows or whatever, cookies or whatever else people put on there. Those are okay now.
Same with the broth cartons. You can put like those like broth cartons in the.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
this is
yeah,
new.
that used to be
This is
a
official
no-no.
now, this is good.
Yeah.
Now, with the lid, with the cap on or not?
My God.
Yeah, because there's
What do you
like
think?
plastic.
That's important.
I'd say throw it in, yeah, I'd put the lid on that thing. I've been doing this 27 years, trust me, it doesn't get easier. This is supposed to make it easier.
Because wouldn't that be considered a mixed media or mixed?
It is anyway. It's Tetra Pak. It's got plastic. It's got wax. It's got a lot of these things have multi layers of different
Oh,
aluminum
yeah.
foil,
Oh, yeah.
plastic, paperboard. It's all mixed
Different
media
kinds of plastic.
anyway.
Yeah.
But these people somehow lobbied strong enough to say they can recycle it.
So is an iron pot considered, scrap metal?
Yeah, that one right there.
Less than 10 pounds.
Don't tell anybody, but the plastic handle melts off, burns off in the process. I'd take a like a little Sawzall or a little grinder and cut that plastic off and throw it in the garbage. Because again, plastics are, running out of time.
The nursery pots, instead of recycling them, why don't we encourage people to take them somewhere so they can be reused? It's not like the dirt is.
So,
You have a good partner in Zero Waste
so
Movement.
Edible Landscapes of Yamhill County collects those at our plastic recycling,
Oh, shit.
quarterly.
Oh, pro, okay.
This Saturday.
Which is this Saturday, and they will be reused by, different gardening, and nursery groups.
Stop laughing.
So, also, 2 Mondays, am I correct, AgriPlaus is coming in, April. So the company that makes these, or that recycles these, actually makes them into new pots, will be coming to talk, in this very speaker series.
I think Lowe's also collects them to be reused.
Yeah. Oh, that would make sense, yeah.
And
Ramsey?
if you need any, I have an entire barn full.
What's our time limit?
As long as you wanna go.
Alright. This is a different list. This is not the USCL. This is a pro list. Pro stands for,
The CAA thing,
no, Producer Responsibility Organization, which is,
CAA.
yes, which stands for,
Circular Action Alliance.
yay, okay, you guys. Here's that stuff. Don't put it in your cart. They're gonna send it somewhere special so it gets recycled. This is the list that CAA is required to manage. We don't have to take responsibility for this anymore. We used to tell you it was okay to put this in your cart. Just, it's not on the list though. Okay,
Does it
so,
need to be bagged? I had a question about that.
I'm sorry, what you?
It should be bagged. If you're going to our transfer station, we have a bin. None of it's bagged, so and they've never had an issue with it. But if you're putting it in your curbside cart,
Yeah, it needs to
yes,
be-
then bag
yeah.
it, please.
So-
Doesn't matter the bag.
Paper.
Paper, yeah.
Okay.
No plastic bags. No plastic bags in your curbside cart, ever.
Should you staple?
Ever. It's a tangler. It causes all kinds of trouble for the system. They literally have to shut the whole CRPF down every 2 hours so that humans climb into the equipment and cut off the plastic bags with box knives. It's not safe, it's not efficient, costs all of you and your rates, like when we had to pay to have recycling processed, it impacts your rates. So don't put plastic bags in your cart.
Dan, can you just articulate what this is? Is this a list of things you put in your bin or?
No.
No,
This
these are the
is-
things you
this
take
is
to a
separate.
depot. Right.
List of materials that CAA is required to set up collection systems in Oregon for, separate from the curb.
And are you doing this here in McMinnville?
We are gonna partner with CAA to have called a recycling center, they call it, they call it a recycle-on center. It was called a pro depot, but they changed the nomenclature. We are getting an addition to our McMinnville transfer station that will be like a shipping container. I have a picture of it in here somewhere, you'll see it. Where you can take some of these harder to recyclables, but still put your glass in your thing at the cart at the curb if you have that service. If not, bring it to the transfer station. Because they're paying us to manage glass for them. Don't put this stuff in your recycling cart, thank you.
So just because there's aluminum foil, is that the goal is that someone in the near future will be processing aluminum?
No, if they have it in their list, they already know where it's going. Notice what's not on this list? Come on, hot topic item, maybe it's in the next slide.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is on their list. They don't have a market yet, but they're building a market for this. And this is I know this is favorite thing to talk about.
Styrofoam number 6 blocks.
That's
Is that what
styrofoam.
that is?
So the reason
Expanded
that
polystyrene, otherwise known as
This
styrofoam.
list is it's separated from all the rest of the metal and they can do something with it.
Okay.
It doesn't get lost in the shuffle.
Gotcha.
Here's those flat lids. The reason we don't take them in the cart is because they get stuck between paper.
Yep.
And they contaminate whole truckloads of paper. So don't put your yogurt lids, flat things are bad if they're not paper in your recycling.
Take them to the event on Saturday.
Yep. Okay, we're running out of time. Let's keep going.
Okay, number 2.
So, I've talked about some of these things. Uniform statewide collection list. That's already been implemented. Effective July 1, the list that Kade has here on the table is your recycling list. now, and we showed you pictures and everything. More education, we talked about that. That Pro Depot that I talked about, Sheridan should be getting one of those. Grand Ron Tribe will be getting one of those. Lafayette is scheduled to get one of those. We're gonna get one at the transfer station. I'm gonna say one more thing about that, and I have a picture of it. Our Recology Ashland Recycling Center is fabulous. If you're ever in Ashland and you're geeky about recycling, go check out our recycling center in Ashland.
That's what I was.
We were the first, okay, technically we were the second one in the state, but we got the whole media launch. So we call it the first in the state. It's down there in Ashland. It's accepting those pro materials. CAA and the state of Oregon agreed to a phased implementation where different zones in the state, typically the ones that have the least access to recycling, y'all are in a very modern, robust recycling environment. Other parts of the state aren't. They're starting with the southern part of the state to roll out these depots. So they are moving north. I don't think we're gonna get one until 2027. If it happens sooner, great. We talked about new contamination. I'll show you a picture. Kate talked about multifamily, talked about this. Again, positive rate impacts. So I will just tell you, like, we have been paying a lot to have your recyclables processed. That's coming way, way down. It's not perfect yet, but the goal of this whole thing, after they spend all this money on the MRFs, they give us money for carts, they give us money for education and outreach. All of that is designed to lower the cost of recycling for you, the consumer, and shift it to the
Producer.
Hey, okay, that's next slide. Well, we're doing good. Kate, what'd you do? Oh no,
Oh.
secrets. There we
Pushed
go.
the wrong button, so it went back to the beginning.
Oh,
Starting over.
Oh, you could have found the slide.
While he's doing that, there are one very important piece of legislation that's happening in the short session, which just started today or yesterday?
Today.
Today, yeah, today's Monday. Battery EPR. EPR stands for?
Environment.
Extended Producer Responsibility, come on. Battery EPR, it's supported by the battery manufacturers. It's supported by the hauling community. It's supported by governments. It's supported even by like Oregon business and industry, I think. It's likely to pass. It is a critical piece of legislation. Lithium-ion batteries, the way they are constructed, they're fine if they're not broken. But the minute you roll over them with a front loader, it starts a fire in your transfer station. The minute you use that mechanical part of your truck to squish all that garbage, creates fires. We've had to dump loads, hot loads we call them, on the streets because of that. We lost a $60,000 transport trailer just in the last 6 months because of a little lithium-ion battery. The legislation, sorry?
I just went,
Oh no, yeah, thousands of fires across the country. It's causing insurance impacts. It's not a good thing. We are fully supportive of this legislation. Write to your elected officials or send them an email and say, hey, battery EPR, now is the time. And remind them, once they're done with this one in the long session, let's add embedded lithium-ion batteries to the legislation because it's not in there. By embedded, your rechargeable toothbrush, your hair dryer, cordless hair dryer, which you can't take the battery out like a DeWalt tool. Those batteries are embedded, and they end up in the garbage and they start fires. So, okay. Now we're back. Let's go to the next slide.
Nasty.
Kate talked a little bit about AI. This is a terrible picture. I think we're gonna get the green light to pilot a thing called Zabble or something like it, where Kate in the field with a phone or a tablet can take a picture of a recycling cart and it'll automatically identify contamination in the recycling cart. Kate can push a button and it'll send an email to the customer to say, hey, we saw this, this, and this in your recycling cart. Please, work on this. Like,
Please refrain.
Okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Those are illegal. So
What are?
to put it, the plastic
This
bags
plastic bag.
are illegal in the state of Oregon.
Yes.
are they?
So
One use
yes,
bags.
If I go to a clothing store,
yes. They're
After-
illegal.
Paper bags for
No,
clothing?
plastic,
The
yeah.
plastic ones.
100%.
Yes.
Yes.
And then in 2027, the thick ones that you got at Winco are also going to be.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
And so
Safeway
what is
already
being
took them
done
away.
about that in terms of producer responsibility
Yeah,
and enforcement of that law?
that's a good question.
Okay.
Talk to your
Yeah.
state legislature.
Brenda, it's been a couple of years.
Fires me up. Yes.
It's been a couple of years.
Yes,
It's outlawed.
2020.
Where,
Yes, 2020, really?
I
was
believe
kind
it
of
was in 2020.
phasing to it,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Not
yeah.
substitute. No, they're not.
They
Single
say
use.
they are.
That's bullshit, I'm sorry.
You can go out
But
there and find out.
if you buy a bag of mealworms for your chickens, that plastic bag is still a plastic bag that's not outlawed. 'cause
Yes,
it's
it's
packaging.
it's the single use
Yeah.
that you would get it, like the grocery, yeah, yeah.
So anyway, okay.
Okay,
So
sorry.
we're excited about this because it's kind of a easy, efficient, harmless, nice, we might even leave gold star tags on people's carts for like people who have perfect recycling that we can see. The carts belong to us. Once you set it out the curb, whatever's in that cart belongs to us too, so there shouldn't be any liability issues or anything like that. But this is a great way for us to help reduce contamination. We are developing a contamination reduction plan. It's required by the state. We had a couple meetings over the last couple months. Recology's contamination reduction education outreach already meets state law, but we're gonna go way above it. Like, we're gonna do a better job. To your point earlier today, Ramsey, we wanna get plastics out of the recycling that shouldn't be in there. We wanna encourage people to use more reuse, less waste. Again, we're not a landfill company. We don't make money by putting stuff in a hole in the ground. We wanna manage it for you and be fairly compensated for it. But yeah, so we're excited about some of these tools. Next slide, I think we're close. That's Kade, that's me. I have my business cards. Battery bill. Oh, RMA, there is one modification bill in the session that would exempt butcher plastic wrapped around meat, butcher plastic wrapped around fish and papers that wrap around like those kinds of products. Seafood wrapping, there's some special carve outs to packaging that the legislature is considering. I'm neutral on it. I don't know if it's gonna pass or not. And I'm happy to take any other questions. We have like 6 minutes left, right, Ramsey? Or whatever.
So
Yes.
the battery bill, are they trying to change the way batteries are made? What is that all about?
No, they're putting the responsibility of managing those batteries through a collection system on the manufacturers, just like packaging. So they would pay money, which they currently don't do, for end-of-life management of their product. Yes,
yeah.
but it doesn't solve the problem from my perspective, because people are still gonna throw their batteries in the recycling or the garbage, and we're still gonna have fires.
So, I just have a few cynical people in my life, I'm not, but just what exactly is the end product of, let's say, number one plastics that, get recycled this Saturday, you know? At this,
Yeah.
this Portland, I think it's in Portland.
James
So-
Recycling.
James
yes.
Recycling.
James Recycling, I don't know the specific companies that James Recycling works with, but I do know the legislation requires certified end markets, meaning it has to be remanufactured into some product that contains that recycled content. We are prohibited since the 90s, we are prohibited by law from collecting recycling from you and sending it to the landfill. We will get a notice of violation from DEQ and we will be fined thousands of dollars, so we
Not
adhere to
all
that.
states can claim that.
Hmm?
Not all
true,
states
yes.
can claim
No,
that.
no, and I get the notices in my email, and I see it all the time, like, so,
Yeah.
we're trying to be responsible here. Other questions? Yes?
I have a lot of little things that I brought today, question-wise. Receipts. Can we recycle receipts?
Yeah, that's a good
The
question.
paper?
Paper, yes.
I've been told no because of the plastic.
We asked that at the waste management transfer station, they said no, because they're treated with some kind of chemicals. You're talking about cash registers.
They can make, I mean, it's a fair argument. There's certain paper boards that are not recyclable, they're wet strength. Some receipt, I mean, I wouldn't just say no receipts, period, because some receipts are.
That's one of those examples that this whole system is trying to
Yeah.
address. If there's something that's not recyclable, the people who make that unrecyclable receipt paper should be paying a fee to, deal with that. And hopefully that will incentivize them to make a paper that can be recycled, that we don't have to ask these questions, right? So that's, so.
They're not
so
covered
we
by
need
the
to
bill, but
advocate
maybe some
for the
future bill
system
they
to
would be
advance, so that all products that are in our consumer lives are fully recyclable. I mean, that's an easy fix. I can't believe that there isn't a way that we can get receipts that isn't a contaminant. That's ridiculous. And they have to
So the answer
debate
is-
whether it goes in.
So they go in the
that
garbage,
bin
really.
or
The
whatever.
answer is garbage right now.
Some receipts are perfectly recyclable, some aren't.
Well, so this system is working, there are teams of people who are working on these subjects. They are examining every tiny little Band-Aid to see how it can be recycled. And if it's not, they're gonna charge the people who make the Band-Aid until they fess up.
Figured it out.
Right, so they should be taxed more and more and more until they figure out a
Yeah,
system
yeah.
that doesn't.
One last one that could be for the group before I have my
Yep.
individual one. The envelopes that have the plastic film, I've
We
been
can take
ripping
those.
out the plastic film, but can I just put the whole envelope with the
Yes.
plastic film in recycling?
Yes.
I don't have to rip out the plastic.
No.
There's a percentage of contamination that's allowable in all products because they can't be perfect.
Yeah.
So the statewide minimum goal for contamination reduction is 10% by 2030, and, no, 12% by 2030, 10% by 2033. I think that's in our contamination reduction plan work. That has to be kind of adopted or accepted by all the jurisdictions, but that's where we're headed. Samples of our loads of recycling from your carts that you put out at the curb will be taken to a facility in Portland. They're gonna sort those loads out, so we know what an incoming load of recycling, how much contamination it has, and then they sort the products coming out of the MRFs, the CRPFs, for how much residual is still in what's supposed to be a clean load. The CRPF gets more money if their loads are cleaner, and then there's also some offset for highly contaminated loads, because the CRPFs are like, we don't collect the material, you're sending us junk. They get a bone, like extra money if it's highly contaminated coming in. So the whole system's being looked at carefully through data-driven decision-making, so that we can all come together in a shared responsibility model to improve our Oregon recycling system.
I feel like everyone in this room could be considered recycling nerds.
Yes.
Amen.
Including myself. I kind of wonder though, like for the average person who is overwhelmed with life that could care less whether their thing goes into the trash or the recycling, are there incentives? Is there conversation about how you can incentivize them doing this as well?
I think you're in the right space with Zero Waste McMinnville. I appreciate Ramsey saying you're lucky to have Recology, I agree, but McMinnville's lucky to have Zero Waste McMinnville and working on things like reusable containers and, being at the farmer's market and giving durable plates, getting them back and washing them. We want to support that, and I think the more that those little practices are visible in the community, the more those people might clue in. I mean, I hate to say it, like young people are our future, but they're also not great recyclers. We had a conversation about that earlier,
So far.
terrible.
So Justin, we have a nonprofit organization that needs lots of volunteers. We are advocating for that $130,000, which is gonna be given to McMinnville for the 3% per capita contamination. Education, if you would like, or anyone in this room would like to help us champion that particular aspect of this moving forward, where we educate the community better. There's the farmer's market, sitting at the farmer's market, or simply coming up with whatever ideas you have to let the common person know, the lay person know what it is that they can do better. Also, just to think outside of that, how can we work the system so that those people who don't care don't even have the option to contaminate? That's what zero waste is really about, getting rid of these products that we don't need.
So you don't even have to think about it.
That's the easiest thing to do, just don't have it, right? There's so many things that are just extraneous. So that's the true meaning of zero waste, that there is no waste to even bother a discussion. Well, that's and that's a whole different waste. So, Before we let these fine gentlemen go, Kate has a lovely announcement to tell you about a program which is in its second year.
Yeah, so we have our second annual artist in residency program starting up this next Monday. Applications open. So it's a 4-month residency. We hire 2 artists over the summer, June to end of September. And the 2 artists work with reclaimed materials from the transfer station. So the recycling bins, the big trash pile we have, to the scrap metal, all of it, it's all free game for the artist to create pieces of art. And then in October, we have an artist in residence event in partnership with Arts Alliance of Yale County, Visit McMinnville, letting us use their space in the art alley, and it's a part of the Art Harvest Studio tour. So the first 2 weekends in October, the 2 artists showcase their art. It's for sale. 80% goes straight to the artist, and the other 20% of the proceeds goes to Arts Alliance of Yale County, which is the nonprofit art organization we partner with. They have a lot of events throughout the year. They're a great partner we have, and we're grateful for them. But so with that being said, yeah, applications open this coming Monday. We have some posts on Facebook about how to apply. You go to our Recology Western Oregon website, and there's an artist in residence section, and that's where you can fill out an application. It's a really cool residency. It's $1,000 per month, so it's $4,000 over the 4 months. And it was a really good program starting out the first year. Both artists sold all but 1 piece their first year. It was a really great event.
First night?
Yeah, so it's really exciting to see. There's a really good turnout with people, and yeah, we're excited to offer the program again. So.
Just a comment on that, for anybody who didn't see that art, it was amazing. Both of those people did amazing stuff, and as I recall, one of them had never really worked with recycling material to make art, and he did an amazing job.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah, there's Blaine and Jessica. Blaine, one of the pieces that really stood out, he made a table out of vinyl flooring, and he had some scrap metal pieces that were, I don't know, like bridge cable. He used those as the feet, and he got glass, and he made a glass top. It was really pretty. And Jessica Husver, she made a lot of really pretty intricate pieces out of glass. She made a glass mural out of a tree. They both made really cool, inspiring pieces, and kind of showcasing that waste can be diverted into art. So it's kind of.
I got outbid in the piece and I was furious.
Sorry about that.
One more thing. Kate was hired just a little over a year ago, and the first thing I said to him is, "You're going to start an artist in residency program in McMinnville." And he had the most successful artist in residency launch that we've ever seen, selling almost 100% of the art on the first night. It was pretty So, kudos to Kate. That's all.
So we have one more announcement from Teresa, who's going to just quickly tell you about something that's going on.
If you're looking for other ways to support Zero Waste McMinnville, we do a fundraiser, which is also upcycling and artistic. Sewing tote bags from recycled pants, those are the bottom of pants, and t-shirts. And then we sell those in the booth at the farmer's market in the summer. So this is the time of year when we're sewing. We're looking for people who might be interested in sewing. I have all the materials, and I have a tutorial on it. So anyways, that's what I'm looking for. Share, and if you give information to me at the end, I can get in contact with you.
All right, thank you. So let's give a big hand to Recology. Thank you all for coming. Remember that this is a series. First Monday of each month through June. There'll be riveting, sexy stuff to discuss about recycling.
What's next month?